Access Hollywood tape hasn't just created a huge headache for Donald Trump, it's also threatening to derail the career of Billy Bush, who joined the Today Show to great fanfare just a few months ago. Adam Riley has more.
Billy Bush made his name at Access Hollywood, cultivating a cheeky persona that caused some concern when he jumped to NBC last summer.
The Today Show was under the news division, so you may want to think before you speak.
Very sage advice.
At Today, zany escapades remained Bush's strong suit, like this deep dive into the world of Spanx undergarments. Serious news was more of a challenge. Covering the Rio Olympics, Bush helped Ryan Lochte pitch a bogus story about being held up at gunpoint.
Lochte tells me, he goes, no, I'm not getting on the ground. You got a gun. You can use it.
When the truth came out, Bush's colleague Al Roker seemed to berate him on air.
Okay, there was no robbery. There was no pullover. There was nothing. Nobody cocked a gun to his head.
Hold on,
he lied.
Okay, calm down.
Whether Bush would have matured is an open question. But now he's reportedly negotiating his exit from NBC after the release of this 2005 video.
I did try. She was married.
It's huge news there.
Bush didn't discourage Donald Trump's off-color comments about women. And right after, he urged a soap opera actress to get close to Trump.
Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the bus.
Bush has apologized, saying he's embarrassed and ashamed.
Think before you speak.
File under Katie Couric got it right.
All right, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm a little bit torn about this. I feel a little bit of sympathy for him. I mean, he plays kind of the clown role. He's the sidekick, and he wasn't saying those things. The worst thing he did was encourage Donald Trump to sort of follow through what he promised he was going to do, because he was talking a lot of junk about that woman. He could see her coming. He was talking about her legs and everything like this, and so. Bush kind of urged him to go on it. But does he deserve to be fired over this? I mean, I think a punishment might be in order, sideline him for a few weeks, but I'm torn on it.
I think I feel the same way. Yes, though the audience on the Today Show tends to be, weighted heavier to females, and it's my understanding that at least behind the scenes, some of the employees were a little upset about this and wanted something to happen. Having said that, look, Billy Bush isn't running for president. And I, frankly, if I were making the decision to release that tape, I would have edited him out of that sequence.
I think they wanted to.
But here's the reason why. If Billy Bush had started the conversation and led Donald Trump into it, then I would have released his piece of that with the video. But, in this case, it was Donald Trump who clearly began the conversation and Billy Bush was playing along. And a lot of times, and I'm not excusing what he did, but there are a lot of times when we're doing an interview with someone and after we wrap up, we kind of have this little banter and you kind of say things that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily say. I'm not saying like that. I know. But you do it just to kind of make the person, and then you walk away and you go, oh, man, they were such jerks, and that's probably what was at play here. And I think if, in fact, they're going to get rid of him, I think it's the wrong decision because Billy Bush is having fun on television.
He also claims he told them about that tape back in August. So
he was also apparently joking about it, it's my understanding, back in Rio. So... it seems like more people knew about it.
Next people are going to disagree with us.
I see the way they're looking at me over there.
Every year, a few people get struck by lightning, and it may not be their fault. You may feel bad for them, but they get struck by lightning and they're hurt. Well, Billy Bush got struck by lightning. What he did probably wasn't an awful lot different from what a lot of people would have done in that situation. But that doesn't mean it wasn't the wrong thing. And he got caught, and he was exposed, and he's become a liability to the Today Show. So that's why he's gone. If they didn't think he would be a liability to the show, he'd still be there. It's all about ratings.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, it'd be one thing if he... And this would still be bad. Yuck, 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 yuck. Donald's saying he's yucking it. Give her a hug. Why don't you give him a hug? Now you have way crossed the line. That's not like little chat that you have afterwards. That's engaging yourself. That's enabling. The strongest research out of Wellesley College, my alma mater, by the way, is about the impact of bystanders and what they can do to increase and make the situation worse. Anita Hill has a better word for it, enablers. And she's correct. And she has a little bit of history with this subject matter. So he was absolutely a bystander enabler, and that is a very serious charge.
But he didn't initiate the conversation.
It doesn't matter about initiating. That a bystander and enabler is the same. You engage in it and promote it and advance it. So having said that, now here's another take. My other take on it, so I'm going to appear to be speaking out of both sides of my mouth, because there is Brian Williams, okay? Yeah. NBC had to make a decision about him as well, and that was an egregious...
He lied.
Well, that's correct. And they made one decision for Brian Williams. What decision are they making for... So now we're getting into what is NBC's policies, rules, mandates? What are you saying?
It's all about value.
It's not my business to intimately, but it certainly is the larger business of journalism for them to look at themselves and make a decision.
Great point, and just goes to show, surprise, surprise, money / stature / brand name talks and everything else walks. Much as we see the life story of Donald Trump proving out. But to me, the thing I'll take away, in a way the great service Billy Bush did, was that we saw from that audio tape how Donald Trump, apparently friendless in real life, was so desperate to ingratiate himself with a grade Z personality like Billy Bush. It was Trump sucking up to him more than the other way around, although he was doing it too. And that is one of the most pitiful things I've ever seen in my 150 years covering politics.
Would you have fired him?
It would depend on how important he was to the brand, right?
Not important.
Apparently not important enough.
Yeah.
And the brand is a little messy right now because you have criticism with, what's his name from his
Matt
debate?
Lauer.
Matt Lauer the other night, right? And you have Brian Williams, so it's a messy
Billy
brand
Bush
right
has
now.
an inability to see that Ryan Lochte lied. Come on, he's doing news. Look, come on. But again,
that wasn't his fault either.
NBC, you got to figure out. It seems to me you need to figure out what is your policy here. It's kind of all over the place.